Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. All right, this is part two on the instrument cluster for Saul Sanchez. Uh, Repairs are approved and cluster is done. I want to just show, I will show just pictures of the actual repair. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. As usual, let me show you what I did on the first one. Actually, on the first one, I forgot to show the actual wire diagram. I'm going to show it to you this time. Just briefly, this is pretty simple for what you need to do in this instrument cluster. You just need to have ignition, the power, um, communication is an DLC2, which is going to come. Let me see if I find it here. Class 2 serial data. That's what you need to use in order to communicate with the instrument cluster. And let me see what else. You got a ground. I mean, just again, just supply powers and grounds. You're gonna have the mill is coming, the signal is coming from the instrument cluster. I mean, sorry, so the from the PCM. So all I do in here, because all I need to check is the bulb to make sure it's working. So I have a ground that I have externally have here, and I just plug that in. Let me just show you so you guys can see that. And because if you do the ball check, and let me show you that here, I'm going to do the, again, using the top-down Phoenix, my go-to tool for everything now. If I do the on, you see the checking light doesn't come on. Everything else comes on except that one. So I have to, in this case, just ground it because it's coming from the PCM to make sure that that bulb is indeed working. And then when I do a bulb test, now it's on. It's going to be on, same thing as the blinkers because they're on. I have that in a separate switch. As you can see, that's the last switch that turns those blinkers on. Like that, I know that everything in the cluster is working. I'm going to turn the cluster off. This is to reset the needles, just main battery or wake up signal. Then the ignition itself. And we want to make sure that all the needles are kind of like in zero. The fuel will be in empty, having a little more room, but that is reset on the vehicle itself. It's the same thing if I turn it off in here. When I do the first, you see how the needles go back and come back. Same thing if it's below empty, like reserve, it will go down. All right, so this is, and it checks all the segments at first. Normally on GM's products, I want to do a sweep test this time for the gauges, just to make sure they're all working good. I mean, all motors, all lights, everything is new in this one now. You want to make sure that it goes all the way to full, and then it comes back. So I'm going to, that's the way it should do it perfectly. One more time. I think the fuel and the oil need to be adjusted. And that's something you can do here. Just, let it rest. You want to do this with the ignition on. This is just how you calibrate this one's a little bit. So I'm going to turn everything off again. All right, let me go full. More better, perfect. Off. And yep, all are working good. That's it. A little minor correction that I did with you guys, but that's it. All right, Saul, I will be calling you shortly to request payment and then send this your way. Again, just blinkers are off because I left that one off, but we already saw that also working. And I want to show you just a few pictures of the actual repair. For those that haven't seen the first part, this is when it came. The cluster, as you can see here, actually the next picture shows it better. All switches are on and nothing is on, just the blinkers and the actual lining, which some of the balls were burned, but it had lining inside or light. But yeah, no communication, completely dead. And that was his concern. He said if he unplug it and plug it and plug it and plug it, it was working. And then to the point that it didn't work. So that's what we did the repairs. And I was showing in here, these bulbs are not working. This one is not working. This one. They should all be light up now. And I remove all after the repair of the board because the no communication is completely separate than the normal repair, which is, the um, stepper motors and all the balls. But yep, everything is working good. And then what you guys just see here, it's just for my records and his records as well. I want to make sure that he can see that everything is on and for records that everything is calibrated as well. All right, guys, don't hold you much longer. Thank you so much for visiting the channel and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.